80% of humanities papers are not cited once. So
let's just translate that for the viewing public.
Yes.
That means that they're producing scholarship that nobody looks at.
Yes. That even their friends don't look at. And because, okay, so what a citation is I read someone's paper and I find a good idea in it, and then I use that idea to buttress an idea of my own, or to riff off, or to criticize, even, for that matter. And then I cite them. I say who they were and when they published it, and then the paper, there's a huge bureaucracy that keeps track of citations, and it's a major indication of academic ability to be cited, right? It's academic payment to be cited. Okay, so 80% of humanities papers don't get cited once. It's absolute failure. It's absolute failure.
As a game, if someone wanted to play a game, I would suggest that they go and they look at the publications of the professors in a particular area and see if the titles all sound the same. And if they all say something about intersectionality, colonialism, and these other various social justice words, you might wonder, am I going to get taught the same course again and again by every professor in this program? Right. Because it seems to me that all of their research is very similar. And how can that be when there's such a broad base of knowledge in the world that we can have such similarity between every publication, which then goes on, why do I need to read my colleagues' stuff when it's exactly like my own, which right. we see. Right. So just as a baseline, Jordan, what would you say is someone who's doing some good research, how many citations would they be receiving, maybe collectively? Like, what are we looking at?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah, well, if you write a good paper, then, like, a great paper will get you 100 citations, right? An outstanding, overwhelmingly outstanding paper will get you 1,000 citations. 10 isn't none, you register with 10, but 0 that's failure. Right. It means your work had 0 impact. It means your work wasn't worth the paper it was published on. And this brings us to a kind of interesting little issue with regards to the rot in the universities, which Deborah McClatchy says does not exist. It's like, here's how the game works, is that we set up a little ideological garden, right? The 10 of us play in, and then we all publish in the same journal, and we peer review each other's articles, and we just publish them. There's no critique, or very little. So the barrier for publication is very, very low when it should be very high. Like a good journal will reject 90% of the papers that are submitted to it, right? So rejection rates really matter. So the question is, why do these papers get published, since no one reads them and they have nothing to offer? And the answer to that is very straightforward. The journals are extremely expensive, are way more expensive than they should be. So just to buy a single paper online for the ordinary person is like $40, which is more than a hardcover book. That's just to download the PDF. And so the journal itself, the libraries are full of them, are very expensive, and the subscriptions are very expensive. And so what happens is the professors pressure the university libraries to buy the journals, and the library funds the publisher. And so the publishers will publish anything. Routledge is a good example of that, much to my chagrin, because they published my first book, and they used to be a great publishing house, but they'll publish damn near anything. And the reason for that is that the libraries are forced to pay radically inflated prices for the publications that no one ever reads. And so people write to publish in journals that libraries have to purchase at inflated prices to produce knowledge that no one will ever read. And that's the little scandal that plagues the humanities. I think it characterizes the humanities more than plagues them.